Charlie Knight hadn't expected an old lady's arthritic ankles to consume his final moments, but he also hadn't expected the extraordinary pressure that was building and swelling inside his head, so obviously his expectations counted for little. He stumbled back, colliding hard with his own desk. A jar toppled over and a rainbow of jelly beans cascaded to the floor. Charlie barely noticed. Edna Bradley looked up at him, startled. "Doctor?" Charlie didn't answer. He couldn't. His skull felt entirely too small for his brain, for the pressure that was growing there, that had barreled out of nowhere and was now, certainly, going to end his life while an 84-year-old woman patiently held out a papery-skinned foot for him to examine. "Charlie, are you all right?" He leaned against the edge of his desk and tried to focus. If this was happening to somebody else, what would you do? If it was Edna, or his dad, or a stranger on a plane with that urgent call for any doctors on board to please make themselves known to the cabin crew. That had happened once, and when Charlie had stood up, the other passengers had actually cheered. Nobody was cheering today. And worst of all, he couldn't see an answer. Couldn't find space in his mind to think, and the only space left was occupied by a white-hot rage that this was going to be the end of him. That he'd be taken out by some almighty brain explosion just when he was about to do something big, something spectacular, that his life was playing out like a cop movie, the ones he watched with his dad, the ones where the detective would turn to his partner and declare he was buying a yacht once they solved one last case. From that second on, the hero was guaranteed to take a bullet in the chest, denied that peaceful retirement and getting a blaze of glory instead. But that's not it at all. Charlie thought desperately, angrily, as the pressure expanded and squeezed. His head felt set to burst open. I'm not winding down. I'm just getting started. And for it to happen in front of one of his favourite patients, too. One who'd known him since he was 6. One who brought shortbread biscuits to every appointment and still dressed up for the occasion. He stared at Edna, but then he stared past her because something else was happening to the cosy little office. And this was something he could see. A poster on the wall, a colourful diagram of the respiratory system, was changing, dimming slightly. So was the one next to it, the digestive tract. And the next, a full cross-section of the body's muscles. The next one too, all of them. The pictures were fading. No, not fading, they were draining. The colours oozed out like someone had pulled a plug from a bath. The spongy pink lungs and the yellow stomach acid turned a dull, lifeless grey. Charlie didn't want to look. The colours slipping out and dripping away to nowhere at all turned his stomach up and over. He wanted to close his eyes, but just couldn't bring himself to do it because now he was looking at the floor, and that was different too. The bright-coloured jelly beans resembled tiny grey kidneys, the blues and greens and reds having bled to monochrome. A light grey here, a darker charcoal there. Edna's voice cut through. "Charlie, what's wrong, dear?" It was like looking at a black and white photo of his patient, wearing a flowery blouse that Charlie knew had once been colourful and cheery, cheeks that were rosy with spots of blusher a shade too bright, now with just a faint shadow to mark where the colour used to be. Everything was grey. And still that squeezing against the inside of his skull, with one more element to it now. Something shifting and swirling behind his eyes. It was an aneurysm, or a clot, or a tumour, something built for bursting and hurting and killing. There was something inside that swirling, shifting pressure, something hiding, trying to push through.